and the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and it is Saturday. And you know what that means? It's time for all the toy news, action figure news of the week that interested me, that hopefully interest you in part one of 2 toy news videos this week. And once again, last few weeks we've had to do 2 toy news videos. We're doing it again this weekend. Of course, it is New York Comic-Con. Not quite San Diego Comic-Con, just a little bit different, a little bit colder, a little bit more East Coast. That's what it is, a little less Mattel. But it is New York Comic-Con weekend, started on Thursday, running through Sunday. A lot of stuff to talk about. We'll have everything else in the other video, Toy News Part 2, Toy News Part 1, all the wrestling news of the week this week, and a lot of stuff. We're going to blow out Todd's O-ring. There's a lot to talk about this week in the Toy News. So 2 episodes once again, and I do have to thank the sponsor of the Toy News this week, Jay'sToysAndGames.com. Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 15% on all in-stock items. Picked up a bunch of stuff there earlier today. You'll see that in weekly purchases. Very excited about some of the stuff Jay's has coming here in the next couple of months. A lot of exciting stuff. So stay tuned for that. We'll talk about that on the channel. Maybe a little bit more around that as well. So very, very fun. Check them out. A lot of new stuff in stock. A lot of good stuff. Check them out. Once again, they just got the new Juggernaut in this morning. So if you're after that Juggernaut Game Reverse, Jay's, you can save 15%. Yes, 15%. Got to give a plug to the podcast because, Todd, you know what? If I don't plug my own podcast, nobody else will. Nobody else will. I don't see anybody else plugging it. Somebody's got to plug it, so I'm going to plug it. And I'm a master of plugging holes, as we know. But in the middle of a fight with YouTube, yes, YouTube, Todd McFarlane, you've heard of it. They're saying my newest podcast episode that will drop this Tuesday, wherever podcasts are found, videocast on YouTube, maybe. They're saying it's too hot for YouTube. Too hot for YouTube, not suitable for advertisers, and it's all my wife's fault. You guys know my wife on that podcast. You never know what she might do, what she might wear. She's always up to no good. But shout out to my wife, Angie. Shout out Todd McFarlane as well from the couch this week. But I told YouTube, okay, I want to fight this strike on here. I feel it is worth monetization because we keep a pretty clean channel around these parts. Yes, an innuendo a time or two, maybe a joke about some feet, a joke about Power Town. You never know what we might be up to. But all in all, I think there's dirtier stuff out there. But we'll see what YouTube does. Either way, I'm going to release the video. I'm going to release the tape, even if I don't get monetization out of it. It is what it is at this point. It is what it is, yeah. But I found that to be funny. I've never had monetization strikes against me, but here we are, YouTube. So more on that, I guess, as it comes. But if you are a YouTube channel member or a Patreon member, you do get early access to my weekly podcast. It is The Kyle Peterson Show, available every single Tuesday. Of course, where podcasts are found, videocast on YouTube. So check it out if you dare, But let's dive into it a little bit. New York Comic-Con this week. Actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. I should plug the Patreon giveaway. Patreon giveaway the month of October. It is Sting. Yes, Sting Supreme Face Paint Edition. Makes sense for Halloween, does it not? So we got that as the regular giveaway. But in a plot twist, anyone who joins my Patreon the month of October, free member, paid member, doesn't matter. Join as a free member. Link in the description down below. You'll be in for the giveaway here. 3 figures to 1 person. Nosferatu, Ben Cooper Kid, Ultimate Gremlin, and Frankenberry. 3 figures being given away. All you got to do is sign up for the Patreon. Free or not, doesn't matter. Check it out. Patreon link in the description down below. But now let's get down to the news. New York Comic-Con this weekend, as I did mention, everything else in the second video. But we got wrestling figures to talk about this week. And Mattel on Friday coming with us with more figures. Now, they did this last Friday. Now, here they are again this Friday. But we did see first in hand, or I guess first glamour shot in package images of the upcoming Walmart Submission 3-pack. We'll never forget WrestleMania. Some say the most famous match of all time. Todd, I'm going to show it to you later tonight. He was very interested to know what this is all about. But Ken Shamrock has refereed, dare I say, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Yeah, I said it. Ken Shamrock, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Ken Shamrock, Bret Hitman Hart, also not too shabby, and Stone Cold Steve Austin, also not too shabby. Not quite Ken Shamrock levels, but they're right up in there. But the famous WrestleMania submission match, I'm here for this all day. Ken Shamrock, one of my absolute favorites of all time. Bret Hart, one of my favorites of all time. And I like Steve Austin. I preferred Stunning Steve to Stone Cold, but still a favorite of mine. So a must-have 3-pack. I love the idea of this WrestleMania match. Would love to see more of stuff like this in the future. And I wouldn't be shocked to see more stuff like that. But we did see that on the Mattel Creations forum this week. Very, very popular set, I have to imagine. We also saw the Target Legends Bray Wyatt. Ray jumped that one for whatever reason. Now we're back over to Bray. Looks like it's going to come in the springtime, so be ready for that. Now this is old school Bray Wyatt, cult leader Bray Wyatt, living down in the swamps like a young Jerry Reed and Amos Moses, maybe something like that. But we did get this Bray Wyatt in elite form. Now we're getting a Legends Ultimate form, Target exclusive. Now to me, this one is a little interesting. The head sculpt out of the package looks a little bit more Chum-Li from Pawn Stars than it does Bray Wyatt. And Todd, I know about that too, because I have been accused of being Chum-Li a time or two. People say, you know, anybody ever tell you look like Chum-Li? Everybody ever tell you look like Hacksaw Jim Duggan? Anybody ever tell you look like Hugh Grant? That's always a strange one. Anybody ever tell you look like that guy from Animal Kingdom, whatever that is? That was the most recent one. And then, of course, anybody ever tell you look like AJ Styles? Anybody ever tell you look like Paul White, the Big Show? Yeah, I've heard them all. I've heard them all. But nobody has ever told me I look like Todd McFarlane. And that's where it hurts right here, because I'm trying to look like Todd, but it's tough. It's tough. But I am barefoot right now. If you could see me now, Todd, if you could see me now, but barefoot under this table and no pants. Yeah, you know how I do it. I'm like a weatherman. No pants needed. So there's that. So I'm not sure about this Bray Wyatt. I'm obviously going to pick it up, but I hope it looks a little bit better in hand. The face sculpt just looks a little bit off to me. That's my personal opinion. Be interested to hear your thoughts on that one. We also saw Legends Series 30. So a new packaging update on this one to call out the Build-A-Figure. Now, I love Build-A-Figures. I think every set should have a Build-A-Figure. I think the main event should have Build-A-Figure. I know, controversial, but I think it would force a lot of people to buy figures maybe they wouldn't. I think it's a good business hat move. So I would love to see that. I think you'd see people trading pieces. I think there'd be a lot of fun involved with that. Give us deep cut, give us a cameraman, give us a security guard, give us managers, give us street gear wrestlers. I mean, even some of the main event figures we get, like we have a Rey Mysterio main event street gear figure, put that in a main event set as a Build-A-Figure. I think there's meat on the bone there. There's meat on the bone there. That's what I'm saying, but not for everybody, obviously, but I would love to see that. But we're seeing Legends Series 30. That's going to be the beginnings of the WWE Build-A-Figure in the Legends line. And I'm here for it once again. So Bob Backlund is going to be it. Running for president, Bob Backlund. And Bob Backlund's an interesting one. Of course, I don't know if he still does this or not. I think he's in kind of bad health, Todd McFarlane. I don't know why I'm looking at Todd McFarlane. He doesn't even know who Bob Backlund is. But I met Bob a couple of times. And Bob went through a time in his life, and he could still be there, where you couldn't get his autograph unless you could list all the presidents in order. And that's where my secret weapon comes in. And it's not Todd McFarlane. It's my wife. My wife, Angie, can list all the presidents in order from the beginnings. Yes, she can do the whole thing. It's an amazing trick. It's an amazing talent she has. And she was going to stun I almost said Bob Dylan. She'd stun Bob Dylan on that too. He'd be like, wow, babe. But no, it'd be Bob Backlund. So very cool. I'm here for this Bob Backlund. I'm trying to remember where these suspenders, I swear we've seen these suspenders before. Have we seen this mold on somebody? I should look. I have every elite. I should look around and see, but I swear we've seen those before. Maybe, maybe not. But I do like that Bob Backlund, a perfect Build-A-Figure. We got Michelle McCool. Been a long time since we've had an elite of Michelle McCool. I guess we got a basic back in the day, which were basically female elites. See the basics? There you go. Mr. Fuji. You know we're here for Mr. Fuji. Definite must buy. I have to have two of these to display both heads. Mr. Fuji and All-Timer. And there's a lot more meat on the bone for Mr. Fuji. We got to get Yokozuna manager Mr. Fuji. Would love to see a wrestling Mr. Fuji. Could that be possible? How about some Fuji Vice? Can we get the one where Don Morocco was running that marathon? Or was it Mr. Fuji ran the marathon, didn't he? And he cheated. He cheated. There's a lot of meat on the Mr. Fuji bone. So more of that, please. Stone Cold Steve Austin. I don't know if it's a deep cut. It's a famous one. We remember him wearing that jersey. And then you got that definitely moment in time title belt with it. That's okay. It feels weird to have Austin in a Legends line, but makes sense with other guys they've done. So it's cool to see him finally begin in there. And then the one everybody wants, myself included. No conspiracies here, Todd McFarlane. It is Jesse the Body Ventura. Bring on the onslaught of Jesse Ventura. We got the retro. We got the Coliseum collection. We got the Legends Elite. And that's just hopefully scratching the surface. We don't know. We're going to have a Mattel Creations exclusive as well. Have to imagine a Superstars in the future. Oh boy, there's a lot of meat on that Jesse bone. So I can't wait to get all of those. Legends 30 looks like a solid set. Can't wait to pre-order those. Have to imagine they'll be on Mattel Creations early like the other ones have been. So we'll stay tuned to that. And we also saw brand new greatest hits main event style figures. Now I'm a little perturbed. Yes, perturbed about this. Now they got Jey Uso is what it is, not the end of the world. Now this was from the 2-pack with Braun Breaker getting a solo card release. Rey Mysterio, I actually unboxed that Rey on the channel a while back. Kyle Peterson 2.0, we've been unboxing some of these main event style figures. Gunther, pretty plain Jane, not too worried about that. But The Rock is that one I just picked up with the John Cena 2-pack. That video's been on Patreon for like 2 months. Someday it'll go up on regular YouTube. I'm so backed up on videos. But if you want to be a Patreon YouTube channel member, you can get early access to all that stuff. But I would have never bought that Rock Cena 2-pack if I knew that Rock was coming out in this one. But here we are. I'm going to give that Cena away to some kid, I guess is what I'll end up doing. But quite the showing from Mattel on a Friday, just kind of out of the blue. But man, a lot of heavy hitters, a lot of stuff I'm excited for. Can't wait to dive into those on the channel when the time comes. But now that speaking of time and speaking of coming, the time has come for the Power Town update.
Are you ready for pain? Are you ready for suffering?
No way. Not this time. We created it. Not this time. No, not this time. It's totally made up. Pure fiction. It's fiction. It's fiction. We made it up. We made this one up. It's a made-up tale. It's a total fabrication. It never happened. It never happened. This one was invented by a writer. Not this time. It never happened. It's false. It never happened. It's a fake. It's fiction. It's an urban legend that never happened. No way. We got you. Not a chance. Not this time. It never happened. It never happened. We made this one up. It's fiction. We made up this one. We made it up. Not this time. Wrong. Not this time. Not this time. You're wrong. Not this time.
And who are we fooling once again? There's no update from Power Town. They're not sending anything out. They're not talking to anybody after the disastrous podcast, things like that. Haven't even heard about these kids that do karate they've been sprinkling out there. I don't know. Read into that what you want. I keep looking over to Todd, and Todd is taking a nap. He doesn't care about any of this stuff. You're more into video tomorrow. I get it. This is where Mark Summers would come in handy, but he's been busy. He got a second job, and I think it was the 40th anniversary of Double Dare this week. So kudos to Mark Summers, 40 years of Double Dare greatness. That's where we all fell in love with him, let's be honest. But Power Town, nothing. Remco, still nowhere to be found. So they were supposed to come every month, basically, of this year. September was supposed to be the month. Then October. Let's be honest. If you got shipping today, they're probably not coming for at least 2 weeks. So we can pretty much write off October. And now we're into the holidays. And November is where he said everything's going to be here by Thanksgiving. Not going to see it. I really, at this point, I'm not sure we'll see anything this year. Maybe the Remcos at the end of the year. Everything else will be into next year if we get them at all. Just once again, the disappointment comes week after week after week. We should be used to it. Our heart's been broken numerous times. It's been broken so many times it can't be fixed, just like Power Town. I just feel bad for those guys, but they brought all of it on themselves. So many things, so many conspiracies, so many go-to-market strategies that didn't make any sense. I don't know how they're ever going to sell anything again. I really do not. Now they're saying they're going to go to just an in-stock model. That's great, but I think there's so many people that are even turned off beyond that. I'd love to hear from you in the comments, but I think there's people that like, they could have the greatest figures with these Remcos ever, but just what I've had to ordeal over the last year plus, I'm just out. I'm out, and I think we're going to see that. So more to come when we get it. Asylum, we talk about them every couple of months. There's really not a lot to talk about. I didn't pre-order these. I don't really know anybody that did. Just really floating in the ether, but they will talk. They'll say, hey, we're sorry it's delayed. No real reasons or anything, but when it comes, it comes. But luckily you can get at least your money back on those. But they've been on the clock longer than Power Town has. But I think not as many people ordered those as Power Town, and not a ton of people ordered Power Town either. So it's just kind of the way it goes. So they've been lucky Power Town's out there to take a lot of heat off them. And you can say the same thing about Zombie Sailor, which he gets a lot of unjust heat in my opinion. I do understand, but like this Macho Man we're going to talk about in a little bit, he never took our money, so you can't get too mad about it. Yes, it was supposed to come out in March, but it didn't come out. It is what it is. He didn't take your money, so you can't get too mad about that. But Power Town, another week, another disaster, or I should say more like it, we're flirting with disaster, like a young Molly Hatchet, and the disaster continues. What, Tom McFarland? Fabulous disaster like Exodus. Oh, shout out to Gary Holt and the boys. We're here for some Exodus talk, and we're here for some Macho Man talk. Might as well get into it. Heels and faces, finally. Order is up. Macho Man Randy Savage. As of right now, he just sent an email as I'm filming this. 50 left in stock. So if you need it, grab it. If you miss out, there's going to be more later on this year. So you have to wait for that. I should have my Macho Man any day now. So good for me. Good for you if you ordered it as well. But this Macho Man's interesting. A lot of people are saying it's the most amazing Macho Man in a long time. I'm not totally sold. I'm waiting for it to hit my review table here. Some things in the pictures I don't like, so we'll see how it is when it gets in hand. Sometimes they do get improved on that. But if you're after the Macho Man, better speak now, or you're going to have to wait a little bit. You're going to have to wait a little bit. And then Zombie did announce, and I've talked about this, I've had questions about this. I'd heard through the grapevine that the Road Warriors were canceled from Heels and Faces Zombie Sailor. That he, the timing ran out. You have to make it inside of the contract or something. That was the rumor that had been going around. I didn't start the rumor. I'd just been hearing and reporting on it. But apparently, we're getting them. We're getting the Road Warriors from Zombie Sailor Heels and Faces going up on Black Friday. Oh, it's like a Starcade tradition once upon a time. I'm here for this. Almost looks like the video game cover from the WCW game back in the day. I love Hawk. I love Animal. These look absolutely amazing. Cannot wait to dive into these. Would love to see Zombie step up and get Pinnacle, Legion of Doom figures, Road Warrior figures. Yes, we got them from ringside, but if he can do this with these ones, can he do the same thing in the more Mattel scale? Can you imagine? Can you imagine? But we still need Pinnacle Series 1, so better not hold our breath this year or maybe even next year on that possibility. But I'm here for it, and I'm sure a lot of you guys and you gals out there are here for that as well. So coming in hot. And he also put out a little cryptic note that maybe Danhausen, the Summerhausen, I unboxed that on the channel this week. Check out that one. Will be officially released maybe on Halloween, so we'll have to look forward to that. Have to think Angry Amish Roadkill. Got to be coming out eventually too. It was at a convention. He's got to have some more of that. Looking forward to picking those up in the future. But now we turn our attention over to Grapplers and Gimmicks, and we're coming in hot over there at New York Comic Con. Mitch doing some funny videos, getting out of like a limo SUV, the hot pink suit. He's ready to go. He's ready to hustle at New York Comic Con. But he did a video showing off the 1 of 300 Strike Force figures. Looks good to me. All I can say is Ariba. That's all I can say about that. We saw the regular edition of Strike Force, the difference being a shirt or a jacket. Personally prefer the jacket, but the shirts look amazing too. 1 of 300 on the shirt ones. We saw Dean Douglas. Of course, Shane Douglas, his time in the WWF. Brief time, but he was Dean Douglas. We saw that one. We also saw a new Jake the Snake Roberts. And of course, he has a lot more Jake the Snake Roberts still to be released. So we'll see those. But another Jake the Snake, more around the Austin 316 time frame, I guess what we'd call that. And then we did see the Hustle Band figure, which I give him credit for. All the credit in the world. Some people don't like that, but if you don't like it, don't buy it. But man, if I had a toy line, I'd make a figure of myself. I'd do that all day long. I think that'd be fun to do. So shout out to him. You can use it as a guy in a crowd. You could use it as a manager. There's a lot you could do with that figure if you're setting up an arena of retro style figures. So kudos to Mitch there. Kudos to him. It sounds like he's at New York Comic Con this weekend. So if you're there, visit him, say hi. Tell him Kyle says hi. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? So Grapplers and Gimmicks coming in hot. Matt Maniacs this week. Nerd Closet. Sergeant Slaughter, Hacksaw Jim Duggan 2-pack. I was wondering where these would go, and it makes sense to put these guys together. Enemies, friends, USA at the end of the day. And of course, as Sergeant Slaughter always does like to tell us all, I'm sure he's telling everybody at New York Comic Con, he's probably asking everybody. People are coming up to him, he's saying, what's a Nemesis Enforcer? That's probably what he's saying. That's what he told me once upon a time. I have to feel like he knows now, but we haven't used that joke in a long time. It was time to bring that one back. But what is a Nemesis Enforcer, Sarge? And I had to explain it to him. I can't believe it. I had to. But now we're going to blow out our O-ring. Yes, Todd, we're blowing out that O-ring. Not the first time for you. Never happened to me, but Todd, many a times I think you've blown out your O-ring. But we got an O-ring blowout this week. Who'd have thought it? 2 different companies, both officially announcing their O-ring G.I. Joe 3 3/4 style wrestling figure line. Now, we did first hear from Pro Wrestling Tees. Now, they're coming out with Danhausen, Ric Flair, Macho Man, Randy Savage, and Jake the Snake Roberts, part of Series 1. I don't know if I was bowled over by these. I don't know. I don't know what I think of those. They look like G.I. Joe style figures. They kind of look like bootleg versions of those a little bit. Now, kind of grainy images from there. They haven't had the official glamour shots, all that kind of stuff out there. Got to wait to see some of that. But an interesting one. I'm not sure I ever needed O-ring figures in wrestling. I know a lot of people played with their G.I. Joes as wrestlers, but not me as a kid. My G.I. Joes were my G.I. Joes, and Flint was leading that team. Duke was hanging back, taking a nap most of the time. That's what was going on. I wasn't doing any wrestling moves. There was no crossover events from my childhood. There was for a lot of people, though. And for some reason, I played with my Kenner Superpowers occasionally as wrestlers. So I was ahead of AAA or CMML, whatever they did. Was it CMLL or was it, one of those two did that one time? I was ahead of the curve on that. But O-ring figures from them, and then in a plot twist about an hour later, KWK did officially announce their O-ring line. I feel a little bit bad for KWK, Sean over there, as he'd been working on this for a while. I had heard some rumblings, heard some discussions, and he was kind of forced hand to announce it because competition was. But I feel he's been working on this a heck of a lot longer than Pro Wrestling Tees has. Now, he didn't have prototype images to show, things like that, but he did officially announce Bruiser Brody, the Berserker, and in a plot twist, Jake the Snake Roberts, dueling 3 and 3/4 line. Unbelievable. But he did announce those. Those are coming. I have a feeling KWK ones will probably cost more, but they'll also look a little bit better than the Pro Wrestling T ones, at least from what we've seen and what we know right now. It'll be interesting to see where that goes. It'll be interesting to see, are wrestling fans ready for a new wrestling toy line? We've had the Jazz Wearers Elite style, obviously the big rubber guys LJN style, retro overload across the board. We've had those. Are we ready for something different that really hasn't been done? And it'll be interesting to see, and I would not be shocked to see other toy lines take this. Now, we got figure collections making reaction style figures, which could be in the same wheelhouse. But I think if there's success here, there's money to be made, as we always say, and Jesse Ventura taught us this, follow the money at the end of the day. If these are successful, these do well, we're going to see more lines do this and try to make a buck or two along the way. So we'll see what happens. Very interesting. I hope your O-ring gets better, Todd McFarlane, but it'll be interesting to see the O-ring wars in 2026, and we'll be here for it. We'll be checking them out. You know how that goes. But we also saw one last retro company, Title Run Toys, showed off a digital image, we'll call it, of Nikita Koloff. And Nikita, one of those guys I can't believe we haven't had a retro from. I can't believe we don't have a big rubber guy. Well, they better get on that one. That is a must-have. I would love to see it in the red singlet, the black singlet. Would love to see Ivan Koloff involved. Give me Crusher Darso as well. I'll take all of them. But would love to see Nikita Koloff in more toy lines. But this is a start with Title Run Toys in the retro. Looks pretty good, all things considered. And last but not least for wrestling this week, we got the big rubber guys. We got the Collect Major guys. They're out at New York Comic Con as well right now, showing their wares, selling some stuff, selling their all-star figures. They're just doing it all. They're doing it all. They're in a bunch of different lines as well, between the bendies and the big rubber guys, you name it. They're doing a little bit. Could they get into the O-rings too? I don't know. I don't know about that. But we did hear about King Haku again. Going to be an in-stock drop later this year. I am here for that. Can't wait to see that. Right and a wrong from the black cards back in the day. Would love to see that King Haku. And then I did unbox the Brian Myers New York Comic Con exclusive. Check out that video on the channel. On the back of the package there, it showed Danhausen instead of red in black this time. And we've had many a Ric Flair. Well, we got one more this time in green. Got to get the most out of your molds. I'm hoping that's it for that Ric Flair mold. I hope that's the last one. Would love to see if they continue Ric Flair, which I'm not against. Would love to see a different look for Ric Flair. So we'll see if that happens. But both of those, no sign of anything, just a little Easter egg on the back of the package. And I love that they do that on the packaging. It's something to look forward to. It's a nice surprise. Very, very fun. So we'll see where that ends up going. Have to imagine both of those sometime in 2026. I would imagine. But that's it. That's the wrestling figure news this week. Once again, I do have part 2. That'll be everything else under the sun. Multiple pages of notes, a lot to break down, a lot to talk about. And Todd, you're going to be on the hot seat. It's going to be a hot seat for Todd. Stay tuned for that video. Once again, check out YouTube channel memberships and Patreon. SirPaul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, TikTok, and TheKylePetersonShow at gmail.com. My podcast every Tuesday, video cast every Tuesday as well. A lot going on every single day, as you can imagine. And a lot of craziness with this YouTube monetization, not wanting to monetize that. That's a wild thing. What's the wildest thing you did this week? Were you like me and bought a car? I bought a brand new Jeep this week. I just on a whim, kind of. But my hand was kind of forced in that. And you'll hear more about that in the podcast. So a lot going on, probably for you as well. It just never ends. It's just one foot in front of the other. That's what you got to do. So that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to step into the next video. I got to film Toy News Part 2. And that's what I'm going to do next. So, of course, once again, you know what I'm doing. I'm rocking and rolling, strutting and strolling my way into another toy news video.
Well, are we gonna dance or are we gonna play?